ready for another lesson?
I'm assuming now recording. We haven't heard from Adam yet, right?
Yeah, he said he's on the road, so
That's
He
right.
just said he's not going to be on.
He's got the
Yeah.
big trip this weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. So to Tyler's
Drake.
point, he said he's not tagging along, which is all good. We'll hold it down without him.
What's been going on in the sports world, folks, that I don't pay attention to? I think we're in NBA finals, right? And we're
I'll touch on that a little bit for you. So we're in conference finals. So the winners go to the championship, right? So it's Eastern Conference, Western Conference, so the final four teams.
Got it.
Spurs are playing the Oklahoma City Thunder.
And
the Thunder have had the best record each of the last 3 seasons, and they're going to repeat. So the Thunder are a modern juggernaut.
But the Spurs have Wembanyama, who I saw basically like single-handedly won them a game.
Look, I really try not to speak in hyperbole when it comes to sports because it's such a hot take thing. But I watched that game on Monday, and like honestly, one of the greatest performances I've ever seen of any sporting event. It's like you're like dumbfounded watching it. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's points where he's doing certain things on the court, right? So at one point in time, he hits a deep transition 3 to send it to overtime. And the opposing team, so the Thunder, you know, like usually like when somebody hits a big shot, like the opposing team, like they kind of put their hands on their head of like, oh no, you know what I mean? Like he's hitting shots and the Thunder bench is like laughing. Because they're
just like what the hell, you know?
It's amazing. Like they're dumbfounded, like holy shit, this guy can do this too.
And it's the fact that he's huge and can shoot accurately, right? Like
and he's like nimble on his feet. And he has lateral movement. Like it's like stuff that we've never seen at all. It's fascinating. It's honestly fascinating for anybody who's into any type of sport. I think you can just watch him play to some extent, and you'd be like, "This is incredible." This
is kind of where, like, I'll go back to, like, let him take the drugs, man. I want to preserve this for as much as we can. You know?
Absolutely.
Because otherwise, like, we get, you know, that has to end sometime, right? 7-foot people don't maintain that peak for a long and like the NBA schedule's a grind. I know that much. So I don't know. This is where, you know, give him an exception ranking, whatever he needs, juice him up. That's cool though. Man. Like I'm happy that we're getting to see that. And that's like I feel like that at its best, that's what sports are, where 100%. You get to see stuff and you're just like, holy crap! I never thought that could happen, or like I love like the risk element that comes in with like combat sports and that kind of thing of like, okay, I could do this, but it might equal that, like, you know, my lights get shut out or something like that and I lose automatically. And like, again, that's partially what's awesome about any playoff sports is that the stakes are immediately raised higher, right?
Absolutely.
Because if you're the Thunder in that scenario and you have had this history of winning, and then you run into up to one dude who suddenly kind of jams it back down your throat, that's psychologically a whole other thing as well too. So that's you know, compelling stuff. This is the best part about sports. They inherently build great stories just by having conflict and trying to build to who wins it all. So you got that on one side. Who do you have on the other side?
That's the Western Conference Finals. The other side, they're actually playing. I think they play right now. They may start at 7. It's the New York Knicks versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Knicks. I think it's the first time the Knicks have been this far in a long. Actually, pardon me. I think the Knicks went this far last year.
Also,
so they've been pretty good the past 2 years, but haven't won a championship. And like New York's the mecca of fucking basketball. They haven't won a championship since like 1950 something, like something astronomical. You know what I mean? So. A lot of eyes in the sports world for like New York, similar to baseball. Like, I mean, granted, the Yankees won a ton, but like they're one of the largest fucking
Always will be
That's
forever.
What I'm looking for. Networks or markets. Thank you, markets. What I'm looking for in the world. So like, there's just so many eyes. Like you watch a Knicks game, you see like fucking Ben Affleck sitting courtside. You see so many like people that we know in our field of like filmography and actors. It's fascinating to see.
So then you have to imagine whoever comes out of the East is going to be favored in the matchup afterwards.
I think West is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Putting OKC in the fucking West blows my mind anyways, but basketball conferences have never made sense to me, so it's fair. But yes, between those two, I guess you would imagine the Western is going to be the favored between the two of them, because I haven't even heard shit about the Cavaliers, and to hear they're in a conference final is crazy. I haven't thought about that team in years.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, no, you're spot on. At this point, it's like it's a war of attrition. Is like which one of the Spurs and the Thunder can like remain healthy. If somebody gets out that series healthy, but they're still star players, they'll probably win a championship.
It's crazy how much of sports comes down to that at certain times, dude. Like,
of course, yeah.
If you could just have a team of just maintain it, like you're just like, our guys just don't get hurt. Like you're probably gonna win. You'd probably at least go far to the playoffs. What most years?
Yeah,
I feel
overwhelming majority of the time. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the saying, obviously, in all sports, right? Is the best ability is availability, right? So even you look at football and to Tyler's point, you think of like the Packers, and like he's a big Packers fan, right? Like that team is wildly different if Micah Parsons doesn't tear his ACL in like week 11, and like that's like kind of the shitty part of sports. Like we're all sports guys, and we watch sports where like there's so many people who could have been so good just for the sake of injuries, though. Right. And it's like you hate to see that. But so like that's kind of
at a certain
what
point
we're rooting against.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then I also like reflect that like at a certain point that is what weirdly is intrinsic to sports. Like I know so many people who were so good at sports but just could not stay healthy, and you're just kind of like, well, like
it's part of it.
Yeah, there is a difference in like I'm not as athletic as you or as someone else or something like that, just naturally. But if my body can handle more, then like that is part of athleticism, right? Like that, it's a weird. It does end up leveling the playing field. So, and then there's just other people that are just absolute freaks who don't get hurt. That just
the genetic lottery people.
Yeah. And it's crazy how far that spread is, and it's not always just explosive speed or muscularity or even just like hand-eye coordination. Like you can there are these other X factors in sports that I feel like people don't appreciate for sure.
You're absolutely right in terms of like your the ability to be available at all times, or the ability to, once you are injured, you have some crazy genetics where like you can heal faster than the next guy. Right. We're like now in sports, and I'm sure it's similar in baseball, where is it Tommy John?
Yeah.
Is that the elbow thing? Like I'm sure at one point in baseball that was like a death sentence, right? That was like tearing an ACL,
right? In
basketball or football. But like now it's like somebody tears an ACL, it's like fucking 8 months later they're playing a sport, which is crazy, because if that would have happened 30 years ago, like they're never playing a sport ever again, right?
High caliber too. It's not even just practice. It's like full blown, like back into the game.
The craziest one, the like canary in the coal mine, which is a terrible example for that. I guess the first like early warning thing, or one that sticks out in my mind for that, was Adrian Peterson like tearing his shit and being like, I'll be back in 6 months before the season's over. And I was just like, that doesn't make sense. And then he did, and I was like, okay, modern medical science is far beyond my thinking at this point.
And that's probably 2009, 2010.
Yeah, I think I was in college.
Like that. So that's probably the turn of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, it's mind blowing, man. You see people tear ACLs, Achilles.
And you're just like, well,
people are literally back playing in 6 months.
Yeah, out for a couple months, but we'll see him, and like he'll be probably okay. Now, I have to assume most of the time too, they're not actually like 100%. Like it's like 80%, and they're just juicing it over the line with all of the drugs as well too. And
I'd agree with that.
I can imagine that in 3 years it may not be the best either. If you if you'd taken a year to come back from it or something, but who knows? When your average shelf life in NFL is 3 years in general. Like, I get it. Gotta make the most of it.
Not to mention on the flip side of injuries, like a majority of that stuff is happening is because of the artificial turf bullshit argument that,
or like
you know what I mean? Like a lot of that stuff wouldn't, like, we're seeing an increase a lot of those injuries, specifically in the NFL in this case, because teams are switching over to turf versus real field.
Yeah, natural grass. Yeah,
the turnaround time with that Thursday game that they added in permanently as well too. I know we've talked about that before. Like, you just don't have the recovery time you used to. Not even like if you're on that short thing, but just over a season. You know.
Yeah.
There's definitely the economic factors that lend more to it as well.
Yeah, for sure. And even to Ty's point of like the synthetic turf versus like kind of the natural grass, like I'm pretty sure in soccer, right, in Europe, they only play on grass for that reason.
Yeah.
Right. There's times where they have matches played in the US, like at certain NFL stadiums or whatever. And like they'll take the turf up for the day or for the 2 days and put grass in.
Yeah.
So like, like the soccer's got it down pat of like, we're not even fucking with turf, dude. Like that's no way we're playing a game on that.
Yeah.
You know, we've done too much research. I don't care how much it costs. But like the players are the product. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's also funny too because that's like how they, like, if you look at like European countries with like their food, right? Like it just inherently doesn't have as much bullshit in it as, you know, America's fucking bullshit food does.
100%. America's just the bottom line, right?
Yeah.
How much money can we squeeze out of the shit while we got it, right?
And if you've got more money, you can afford better. That's how that should work.
Yeah.
It's Elysium, dude. It's like
if
you have enough money, you get to go on like this fucking ring where you just sit in a tube and you're cured of everything all the time.
Yeah. And real quick, before we segment out of sports, and we're talking about just kind of American sports being the bottom line, right, of how much money we can make. Where I mean, that's bleeding into like your ownership of sports. So like Adam would talk about like the Bulls owner, the Chicago White Sox owner. I just saw
crazy
something the other day that the Portland Trailblazers owner, I think they've cut staff by like 45%, and that was like effective on like Monday. Something crazy, but these people are like wild billionaires, right? You run a professional sports team. It's like, however, like you should be trying to win as much as you can, right? It's
like, where did that go?
Seeing
like,
it as a business thing of like, well, I can put X amount of that in there and write it off as a tax thing, and so it like it works great for my portfolio and shit. Yeah, that's craziness too. And then like that's not even the tier below that, which I feel like is the Rob McElhaney's, Ryan Reynolds of the world's, like using their celebrity to buy a team in like a smaller market and then like boost, like basically creating a bunch of market share around it or revenue dollars with their own celebrity kind of thing. And then then you sell it and then you make money off that as well too. It's just a whole other thing. Like, and you know, that Welcome to Wrexham is fun. It seems like they had a good time while they were doing it. I'm not necessarily here to cast judgment on it, but it's also just like, oh shit, yeah, there is this thing of like, you can have a job or be like going for something that you're passionate about, and someone else can come in and just be like, well, no, this makes sense for my business at large, and just completely fuck it up. That's
crazy, where you can be in it for all the right reasons, but someone else can just jump in. It's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter, man. We can make more money doing this.
Yeah, and exactly. Like, oh, no, I'm going to tank the team so that we can buy all the land around it so that in 6 years when it's good, we can sell that at a larger price. And like, you know, that it's all of that stuff where you're just like, oh, God, man. Yeah. Not only like, should I have to think about those moves? I don't want to. Like you don't force that shit on me, man.
Yeah. and that's where like, and then I think we're gonna get really convoluted here, but like I think that's the only part where I can start to buy into how sports are rigged. Right. So like, I don't really buy into it how people are saying like we think refs are in on things. Like I've never really been on stuff of that. Also there's human like biasness in that. But I do think like that's the area where like if it's rigged, like that's 100% what it is, man. Like somebody owns a team and it's like, no, dude, like I just want to make as much money as I can. I don't give a fuck who we put out here at pitcher. Right. Doesn't matter to me, man. As long as we can put the stadium at 80% capacity for majority of the season, who cares? Right. And like that's where it's like that can't be good for the integrity of the sport. Right. And that's where like the riggedness comes in. Is like, is everybody really trying to win? You know? So I don't know, man. It's an interesting topic.
Well, You guys feel like we chatted enough here at the start?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Pre-pod or post-pod, however you want to do.
Yeah. Then yeah, who wants to? Are we just kind of free associating this one, or anyone want to run this guy?
I think I'm gonna leave that to you two. I'm not the biggest Star Wars guy here, man. I don't want to butcher anything, but I can jump in where needed. I've got IMDb up and everything, so let me know what you need from me.
Well, we could talk it out. Yeah. Let's kick it off in maybe 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I am one of your hosts, not Adam Schwartz. He is gone this week, but I am Nathaniel Gingrich, and joining me this week is Star Wars Trabajo, Tyler Vanellis. How you doing, buddy? He might not be here right now. I'm taking that from his lack of response there. Then I'll go Big Pod Blake. How you doing, Blake?
Good, man. Good, man. I'm feeling all right. How you doing, brother?
It's I'm coming off working my like 7 days in a row. So today is my first day off after my stretch. So
nice little relaxation.
Yeah, I didn't do shit today. As you can expect. I do have 2 days off in a row now, so today was definitely the like recovery, rest, don't talk to anyone, recharge my social batteries day, and tomorrow will be the admin errand, get all of my like functional stuff done day. So yeah. Other than that, I've been doing all right. I feel like summer's it's Memorial Day weekend here in the US of A. So it's kind of the official start of summer. I do feel like we're kind of getting into that mode a little bit here, and I'm looking forward to it, man. I gotta say, how you feeling?
Yeah, man. No, I'm with you. Always looking forward to summer. This is when I can get into my my college baseball watching, man. And I've already started it. So earlier today, I had a few. They're now in the conference tournaments. Right. So it's interesting to like turn on a certain game and you can see where the conference is playing their tournament games. Sometimes they're at just like the nicest facility in that conference.
Sure.
Other times it's like we're playing at like
a city park
double
or something
like place in fucking Charlotte. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just fascinating to see the difference of that.
Yeah.
But I love when the actual
Omaha tournament starts.
Then I can see the individual schools and how they play. So yeah, it's cool, man. So that's what I look forward to, the May season, right? That and then women's softball. It's kind of the same thing. It's fascinating to see the different facilities and
I think like it is weird American sports in comparison with us on like the college level. I think is just a uniquely American thing as well too, where like any other state or any other country, right, at that level you are considered probably a pro athlete. And I guess in some ways now we are as well too with the NIL and that kind of stuff. But it is just it's that weird thing I think of America being such a big country kind of means that we can have those different tiers of professional, semi-professional sports where you have something like softball where arguably the most competitive softball you're going to play is going to be in college. And so, it's always fascinating to see that level. And I think you do get more like the higher you go up in there, and we've talked about this, I think, on the pod as well, too, but like NFL teams are all going to kind of play a similar style of football at a certain point because it's just the most efficient way people have figured out to play it at that point. But like on the college level, you still do get those like weird teams where like maybe they've just got a great pitcher, but everyone else is really fast. So they like bunt a bunch and run everywhere or something like that. Like there's more personality in the teams, it seems, 100%. At that point.
100%.
So always fun. Tyler, are you back?
Yes.
Okay. That's big Star Wars Tyler over there. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm good. I didn't know you guys started already.
Oh yeah.
I came back and we were still on sports talk, so I was like, "Oh,
we circled back around." Without you, we get lost in sports talk. But yeah, how you feeling this week, man? We were just kind of chatting how things have been going.
Yeah, nothing too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Just work, and then when I get home, I'm doing something. So
makes sense.
Putting something together, painting something.
Yeah,
a lot of crafting going on around the Vidalis household at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good though. You're handy.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, no, it's been good.
You're very handy.
I did wallpaper over the weekend.
Mm.
In the nursery, we did like a new like closet like organizer, so that had to be like built, and then they make you order it for a specific size closet, and then when you put everything in, they're like, "Oh, well, these may need to be cut like custom to fit in here." It's like, well, that's then why have the fucking size?
Yeah, that's, seems a couple steps too many in some ways.
But yeah, no, overall it's going good. We're rolling and cruising and all that good stuff. Got an extended weekend coming up here, which is always nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Well, as we said,
the
voice you don't hear this week is Adam Schwartz, which means it's I think this is going to be a bit of sizzle episode for the Back Row Banter boys. Or he is supposedly going to send us his ranking, right? And his rating?
No, that was earlier. Now he says he doesn't have enough time to do that. So he's just going to give us his thoughts next week. So we can still rank it and get our averages and everything where we're at. And then he can just finish out the ranking next week.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Adam's gone, which means he's not here to defend himself, and that means he should have watched the movie. Sorry, man. That's how it goes. But we'll rank it, and this week we're talking about Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which Tyler and I have most definitely seen. Blake has not. So, buckle up, folks. This should be a fun one. If you've listened to Back Row Banter for long enough, you will know of Blake's non-relationship with Star Wars. But I think
that's true.
For if anyone's new or perhaps they've just forgotten, Blake hasn't seen any Star Wars except perhaps parts of New Hope or some of New Hope. Which I think was within the last 5 years or so, you would say? Like, has it been?
Yeah, probably.
Since we started the pod?
Parts of, we're just going to count it as no.
Yeah. Well.
So last week we decided with the oncoming latest Star Wars release, Mandalorian and Grogu, which a little peek behind the curtain,
though, right? That's not an actual Star Wars joint.
Correct. Right? It is in the Star Wars universe. This is not part of the main storyline, I guess you would say. You would think of like the Star Wars saga in a lot of ways. And is apparently on track for like the lowest Star Wars opening ever. So glad we're really committing to adding this one to the
Is it animated?
No, it is not. It is a live action.
Who's the headliner on that guy?
Well, it would be Pedro Pascal, but because he plays the Mandalorian, who for reasons
from the TV series, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Who for reasons never shows his face. It is in some ways kind of an animated movie because it's mostly his voice.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyways, this week we've decided to go all the way back to the year 1999 to watch Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. If you're new here, perhaps you've forgotten the way things normally work on Back Row Banter is we'll go around the squadron, which is all of us, including Adam, and we will decide if we would recommend this movie. Or actually, first we'll talk about it. We'll talk about who wrote it, who directed it, who's in it, all of that good stuff on the IMDb page. Talk about the IMDb summary, then go around and decide if we would recommend the movie. It's got to be a yes or no. There is no nuance on the internet. And then after that, we would rank it up on our Entropy list, which is our big list of everything we've watched the podcast ranked. Actually, first we'd go into spoilers time. I'm so sorry. Which is, anything that is any big plot twists or spoilers for a movie from 1999 and one of the most famous movies of all time. I don't even know if there's any spoilers in this one. But we would talk about that after the spoiler warning. And then you could check where that is in the show notes, and you could come back and see where we rank it up on our Entropy list, which is our big list of everything on the podcast ranked. That's what we would normally do, but we don't have Adam this week. We don't have his thoughts yet. So we're just going to kind of do a looser version of that and maybe talk about it here a little bit. Yeah, I'll kick it off. We'll talk about the IMDb summary here. This is 1999's Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, written by George Lucas, directed by George Lucas, starring, let's see, how do they have this organized here? Top cast, so not in order of appearance. Adam would be happy.
Ian McGregor.
You got Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan, Liam Neeson, Natalie Portman, Jake Lloyd, Ian McDermott. Obviously, Sam Jackson's going to show up at some point. And probably Ahmad Best is the other voice in here we should know.
Oh, yeah. Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. And then you'll have kind of the mainstays, Anthony Daniels as C-3PO, Kenny Baker, R2-D2, Frank Oz as Yoda, in some of the maybe less overall lines, but nonetheless more prominent roles of the film itself.
Yeah, the only other one I'll mention, just because he's like peak, is Darth Maul. What is that? Park?
Ray Park plays the body of Darth Maul. He was dubbed by Peter Serafinovich. So a little twofer role there. Not unsimilar to Darth Vader, whose body was played by David Prowse and voice obviously done by the late, great James Earl Jones.
Yes.
But, yeah. So here we are. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, 1999. Blake, talk to me. What was your thoughts going in here? What was your immediate reaction? What was your setup like? Was this a you and Haley watcher? Was this just one you watched by yourself shamefully? What was our thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Real quick before I jump into that, should we read the IMDb summary?
Yeah, right? I guess yes, we should. So you got it there.
Yeah, I got you. So IMDb summary here. 2 Jedi escape a hostile blockade to find allies and come across a young boy who may bring balance to the Force. But the long-dormant Sith resurface to claim the former glory. Which, I mean, having watching it now, I think I understand that, but like I wouldn't have known that. I would have thought, yeah, we'll talk about it nonetheless. So yeah, that is the summary in terms of how I watched this. This is one I had on just kind of in the evening after work one time, and Haley was doing her own thing, but she kind of walked by and glanced at it a few times. And it's one that she's shared that she's seen before.
Okay.
She's 2 brothers for context.
Sure.
So, and they're all around our age. So yeah, she's like, this is shit like my brothers watch all the time, right? Growing up. So she shared some of that, but yeah, this is one like went in not really knowing. I'm not too versed in the Star Wars world. Fascinating. Okay, like just jump straight to it. I didn't know Natalie Portman was in this.
Okay.
It's like that was fascinating to me. Like when she comes on, I was like, oh wow, I think that's Natalie Portman. And I was like, man, how old is she? Like she looks really young. Like I only know her from earliest stuff I know her from is like probably like Black Swan.
Sure.
And stuff that's probably like 10 years after this, right? Or 06, 07, something like that. So yeah, absolutely. That was fascinating to me. Then of course we've already gone down the tangent of the Ewan McGregor joint where I was like, that's my boy from Dr. Sleep. Then the whole podcast corrected me that he's actually wildly famous from these movies. So yeah, so that was interesting. And also didn't know Liam Neeson was in this either. So like this all around, like just have no idea who the fuck was in this. So the cast was fascinating. Pretty interesting to see that. As far as the world building and whatnot, is chronologically, is this the first movie in the series?
Yes. That we have seen at this point. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I would have thought. Because the ones in the 70s, which were made first, those are not the first films in the series, right?
Correct, yeah.
Correct.
The first one starts with episode 4, even though, like, at the time it was just released as Star Wars. Like, for the first 10 years, no one called it that. It was just Star Wars. But yes, now chronologically in the like main Skywalker storyline, that's episode 4 that they start with. So it's in essence 3 trilogies. One prequel trilogy, the original trilogy, and then the sequel trilogy.
Right, which is 70s, late 90s, early 2000s, and then what we got like in the 2010s.
Yeah, 2015s. Right? Yeah.
Okay. So chronologically, right? It's like I didn't really know where we were at, but I'm kind of just watching at this point. But yeah, man, what a 90s wacky movie. And like I knew it was gonna be wacky because that's what you guys were mentioning, right? To gear up for it. But yeah, a ton of CGI. There's some stuff that looks like it may be practical, but like I'm talking like massive CGI sets for like 1990, like full worlds. Some shots that are just like, and I assume like Star Wars started it, but there's so many shots that just look like a static camera on a CGI set, and everything is CGI, and it's just like all the animals and shit walking across. Right? Yep. Which, like something about, I don't know, it could be like autism or anything. Something like that like does satisfy like an itch in my brain. I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that. But yeah, like that's cool. Like I didn't know that came from this. I also didn't really know the while watching it, it came to me. It's like, okay, this is what Star Wars must be known for, but like the wonky cuts to different scenes.
Yeah.
Like,
the star wipes and like zooms in.
Yeah.
The PowerPoint transitions.
Yeah.
Legitimately. Yeah. Where it's just like scene.
Yeah.
And then like the next set.
Yeah. You're expecting the little star to come in from the middle and like take over the screen.
So that was like cool. I was like, okay, it's like that must have started with this, right? Or in this series, maybe not this exact movie, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so overall it was like it was interesting. There's a lot of action takes place pretty quickly. It seems like we're just like jumping from like scene to scene to scene to scene as far as like the actual like character building and kind of that. Like I didn't really care for any of that, but I also don't have the backstory for any of these characters. It's like I don't really know who Obi-Wan Kenobi is compared to the Liam Neeson character, right? Any of that nature. But yeah, overall it was like, oh, okay, this is some 90s shit, man. Like there's some CGI, there's some wonky shit going on. But it was like it's cool. It's cool. What are your guys' thoughts?
I mean, I grew up on this thing. This thing's gonna have a strong nostalgia vibe for me for sure. I was what, 9 when this came out?
Yeah, 99.
Yeah. Yeah, man, just a peak movie for a kid. Fucking lightsabers and all that stuff. And so yeah, it's definitely pretty high up there as far as a nostalgia pick from like the Star Wars universe. I honestly couldn't tell you which one out of all the films that I've watched the most. But this is definitely towards the conversation. Yeah. Just like as a kid, the replay value was just so high.
Yeah.
And then obviously in later years you realize that it's not obviously the best one that we have gotten. But still like such a solid little film in my mind. Obviously it's got like its quirky little things about it, but genuinely those are the reasons why like I still love it. I can probably quote out a pretty good 50% of this movie. My brother, my viewing experience for this time was Justin and Foley came over and we all kind of hung out, and we obviously all have some pretty strong ties to this movie, so we all watched it together, so that was pretty good and a lot of fun too. So yeah, dude, just weird, quirky. I mean, fucking pod racing is some of the best stuff I've ever seen on screen as a kid.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's one thing I wanted to chat about too. So,
and now that I'm in like my adult life liking and loving Formula One, I see like so many similarities. And even growing up, and we can get into this a little bit later, I knew that there was certain people in that race that were based off of actual
drivers,
car motorsport, racers at some point in their career they had based carriages off that. So that was pretty cool to see. And then obviously we've talked about it before, pod racing goes into a whole game that I was obsessed with for a long time as a kid. So super sick ties there. But and then you got some just really good old school, old fashioned choreographed fights that go crazy, and it's sick, and it's dope to see that those were still around. Obviously, we get some really good stuff nowadays, but you know, you don't have a lot of those things without movies like this. So, Nathaniel,
yeah, I mean, maybe you talked about this a little bit. I had to step away there for a second, but I want to like start off by like properly setting the scene of like in 1999 what the hype levels were around this guy as well too, because I feel like for me this is one of those definitely formative experiences where my dad had shown me the original trilogy of Star Wars as like a formative movie experience for sure. It was in there with like The Sandlot and Jurassic Park and all of that stuff as well. So then I have a distinct memory of being probably first grade or so or something and asking like, oh, okay, they're making new Star Wars movies, like hearing about it. Is it going to be about like the original characters? And my dad being like, no, they're too old now. And then like that like kind of concept starting to sink in that like actors are people who will age out of roles and that kind of thing. And then like the hype around this building and building and building and building and building. And I remember, you know, it was everywhere. It was the, you know, the McDonald's meals, like all of the stuff like before we had phones to distract us from other forms of entertainment and like YouTube algorithms to lock you in and everything. Like you couldn't walk past a bus, a billboard, you know, turn on the TV without seeing some sort of commercial, some sort of t-shirt, some sort of Happy Meal toy. Like this thing was everywhere. Yeah, exactly. And then like it came out and I remember my parents going to see it and then like coming back a couple days later and like taking me to go and see it. And like it blew my fucking mind. Like as a kid, I was just like, holy crap, there's, you know, there's spaceships everywhere. There's a pod racing scene. There's a dual lightsaber. Like, what are we even talking about, folks? And then it was probably when I was maybe like 4 or 5 years later that I rewatched it. And I think maybe when the second or third one was coming out or something like that. And I was just like, oh, this doesn't do anything as a story. And like Darth Maul, one of the most memorable characters who I was sure was in this for 2 hours is in this for like 3 minutes, like a total screen time or something like that. Like just it was one of the most jarring, like my memories of this movie were so much more important and impactful than like the movie itself ended up being. But even then, like on a rewatch, that nostalgia still hits. And I feel like this is one of those ones that I just really won't have a very good barometer for because it's a kid's movie. It just is. And I was a kid when it came out and it just synced up, you know? I can't look at this non-judge or objectively in some ways, even for all of its weird faults, which I think now play better. Like to hear Blake say, oh, like it is very much of the 90s and of its time. Like, I don't think we will look at I feel that as I feel that as its positives now. Like for what it's worth, this is George Lucas through and through. He's the one that is like driving all of this and like coming up with all this creative stuff. This next era, I don't know that in 15 years, nigh on 20 years at this point, at 25, we're gonna look back at Mandalorian and Grogu and be like, wow, that feels like one person made all of that. And like it may be weird and even bad, but I can tell that that is one person's like singular vision, or that is one person driving this kind of thing. It's not made by a committee, which it definitely feels like is what we've transitioned into now. It's everyone thinking like, well, we got to do what's best for the Star Wars brand, not I want to make a crazy fucking thing called Star Wars and we're going to throw all the random shit that I can think of into it as well. Which is, you know, I mourn.
Yeah, man, it's definitely different. You just we talk about like original IPs and this was, I mean, Star Wars when it first came out was epic. I mean, it was unheard of at the time. Uncharted territory. Well, the fact that we still got movies after that still, like you said, feel like George Lucas, and not a board of people that make decisions. It's going to be hard to find that nowadays.
And I think you're going into this in 99, you got the first 3 to go off of, and that's it. Like, they haven't had a miss at that point. Yeah. Like, you are like, it's a much different thing. Like, I think nowadays we kind of look at it as like Star Wars is like this kind of history of mixed bag kind of thing overall. But at this point in time, like, you're going into it and like they haven't really missed yet. And what they have had is one of the like standalone, one of the greatest trilogies of all time. So then to come out with this, which I think is a miss, but is it at least a miss that is like unique or saying something? Like that is a weird little spot that I think it's grown to kind of occupy, where at the time I think a lot of people that weren't children were just kind of like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. I think to kind of talk to Blake's point, like there's so much that is standard in filmmaking nowadays in terms of CGI, in terms of character, like CGI characters, in terms of CGI environments, that like if you don't have this film doing it first, obviously you don't get to that stuff. Like there is definitely that thing that we talk about in filmmaking or in like kind of our review process of like, does this film move things forward as well too? Is it trying something new? And this, for whatever you could say about like the prequel trilogy, they were definitely always doing that in terms of like, what can we do?
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is like the pinnacle of what that, like, I mean, that was some of the whole reasons why, I mean, Star Wars even got to where it was because some of those guys were starting special effects and the cameras that they were using and the paint stills going into different ships. And like, I mean, it's insane the amount of envelopes that this one single genre, or not even genre, but just Star Wars in general, this one title has pushed boundaries, and I wouldn't say continues to push now. Obviously, we all know that like Disney as a whole is just shot on one big giant LED screen.
Yeah.
And
but even then, that was like kind of developed for them from Star Wars as well too, like to begin with.
Yeah. But yeah, it's always been cool. I think I mentioned it on the podcast at one point. But there is a documentary on Disney. It's called Lights and Magic, I think. But it is basically the whole beginning of special effects as we know it and where it started. And it was in Star Wars Studios. So it's very cool to watch that. If you're ever curious about how that stuff came across, go watch that.
I remember like one of the kind of movie experiences of the late 90s, early 2000s was going to the theater, and before everything, the THX logo would come up and you get the and like for the longest time had no idea that's George Lucas, that's Skywalker Studio. Like that is all because of Star Wars. And then the same thing with like ILM, Industrial Lights and Magic, and the like CGI video, like again, all of that started from guys that worked on Star Wars as well too. And it's absolutely insane the influence that has had on the industry, and like again progressing the craft and tech of everything overall.
The guy who made the Pixar computer, which is also known as Pixar, came from that studio. Like we just don't have anywhere close to as many of the things that we have now without that initial push that these guys did, and it's incredible.
So we've praised it.
I'm a recommend.
It's an up and down, definitely. I feel like I have to recommend in some ways, but like it is definitely a kids movie, and it's definitely there are parts that you're just like, what are we doing here? Wooden acting, some all-time clunker dialogue lines. Stuff just happens. For, like again, like I said,
you want a wonga.
Yeah.
That means are you gonna pay for that?
Right. Yeah. They've gone up the ventilation shaft. Vaguely racist shit all over the place as well too. Like, for sure. Just an insane movie. But definitely I think think I'm gonna recommend knowing what I'm saying as well too.
Yeah. So I mean, that's 2 recommends from those 2. Like, all things considered, you kind of have to take with a grain of salt. It's like, it's not that I don't like the movie. I just like, there's how many Star Wars movies are there? Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Is this the one you have to jump off the couch to go see? Like, probably not. So I think like that's my basis of like, I don't think I would recommend it. That being said, it was an awesome time capsule for me to sit down and like watch what a blockbuster sci-fi genre pushing movie was in 1999. Like, that is a cool concept to see, but like, yeah, if you're gonna watch a Star Wars movie, there's 15 other ones to pick from. I just don't think this is the one you should be jumping off the couch to go see.
So that being said, I'll probably play a spoiler noise here. How about this one? Spoilers. Shit goes down.
Shit goes a lot of ways.
Shit goes a lot of ways. So
Gungan City's dope.
True. The plot of this movie is
that the was that the underwater city?
Yes.
Yeah.
Underwater.
Yeah, that was cool. Like, there was a lot of cool shit going on, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was definitely some. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I do like that. But like, from a storytelling perspective, I just don't think I was like super interested.
No,
in
it's
it. But
fucking
like I said, I don't
crazy
have the
shit. Like it's
context
all
of-
about Senate and like trade routes and stuff like things that
Yeah.
no one cares about as a child.
They're going in this underwater city, which was like super cool to see, and like there's these giant fucking fishes that are eating each other. And
Always
eating
a bigger
ships.
fish.
And like they're just driving it, like, yeah, you want to go to this tunnel here, and take, like no one's even.
Meanwhile,
like, reacting.
Jar Jar Binks screaming the entire time that he's
Yeah.
Ooh, big gooberfish. Like that.
So it was like that stuff was like cool. It's like, man, like that stuff you don't really. I mean, I guess the closest you get to that type of shit now is like your fucking. Take it with a grain of salt here, fellas. But the closest you get to that stuff now, like, is like. Maybe like your avatars, your Pacific Rims, the Meg 2. And I know I'm kind of just throwing out names, but in terms of like large scale monsters like that are playing roles in movies, right? Yeah. But that was fascinating. And then before we do get off topic here, though, and I'll let you guys get to it because you guys is someone you guys are more passionate about this series than I am, is that had no idea. Because we were just talking about the pod racing video game like 2 weeks ago. Had no idea it came from this movie.
Sure.
And that was probably the coolest shit ever. Like when I seen it, I was like, okay, so that's where that came from. And that's a video game that's like integral to my childhood.
Sure.
Had no idea if it was based off this movie. I thought they just made the Star Wars some Star Wars shit.
No.
So
right.
Cool.
So you can
Turns out they
imagine
pulled it directly from here.
Yeah, you can imagine like just watching that in a theater, then going home and be like, I can play this now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I ever ever advanced the game more than like level 2. I just played the one Phantom Menace track probably
Eve race.
yeah, like 3,000 times. Like,
Yeah.
I was the exact age where like I understood that it was a game, but I had no interest in being good at the game. I just wanted to play the things that I knew. Like, the pod race. I want to say too, the sound design in this movie is incredible. That's one thing I really took away from this watch, was just like everything from like every time you're hearing the pod racers like accelerate, decelerate, like it's not any sound you've ever heard before, but your brain can immediately identify it as like what it is. Like, oh yeah, that's an acceleration sound. No car sounds like that, but like I understand that like
it's moving faster.
Yeah, exactly. Like all that, or like she has that really tiny slim gun that makes that really crazy like sound, like like that always sticks in my mind as well too, because it's just so distinctive. Like there's a lot in this movie that I think is really purposeful and thought out, whereas like you feel like nowadays they would just pick a sound from X thousand little soundboards that they've already recorded kind of thing and just put into there. You know, and you would be able to see that movie or hear the same sound in the fucking Tomorrow War 6 weeks later when it premieres on Amazon or something like that. You know, there's little elements of craft and texture into this that are definitely there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars in general, when you think about just audio design and sound design in general, is really incredible to be able to have different sounds that nobody really ever heard of, and whether it's doors opening or guns firing or um
the droid echoes,
Sonic,
like like those weird little sounds,
or sonic bombs going off.
The bois.
Yeah, I mean it's the sound design on almost any Star Wars movie is pretty incredible. Obviously, they do the same thing now where they have such a catalog of sounds that they just have to backfill, and now it's there for continuity purposes. But always still just super cool to be able to hear all those sounds when it was happening in real time. Score is also really good. Costume design is really great for the most part in a lot of these. Yeah, man, I mean, there's so many. It is funny that you bring up the blatantly racist kind of they're like clearly the guys on the ship for the Trade Federation are Asian, and it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier with South Park, how like they obviously do like their voices for like their Asian characters. It's like I'm like, you guys are clearly being
this is a white guy
Asian
doing an Asian accent. You didn't go get a Vietnamese man to do this.
So it is very interesting to obviously see those things at later years, and please, people, this is the first time we've realized this. We've known this for a long time, but this is obviously the first time we've been able to talk about it on a podcast. But yeah, man, overall, there are so many things that I could pick out that I still just love about this movie, even though this is a 6.5 on IMDb, which is rather low for what you would think most Star Wars movies are. At least continuing on from here, I know the highest praised one out of the prequel trilogy is probably Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
And then you go into the OG3, which are all good. And then you go into the sequel trilogy, which I don't think anybody overly cares for any of those. But the score is another thing that always really was kind of like a showstopper for me in this. You get all your Sith hints when Sith Lords show up on screen, space battles. It's all there. It's all great.
I had there was a bit of merch toy that was like a big communicator, and then you could plug in different little soundbite ones for it, and you would like buy, and that was like how they got you to keep on it. You would buy different ones and would have different ones. So I think I like the Obi-Wan Kenobi and then the like Qui-Gon Jinn one and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But one of them was the Darth Maul one, and he just went, it was always, I'll still remember, it's like, at last we will have the Jedi. At last we will have our revenge. And that was just the little clip that was there. And that's just, burned in some memory that when I'm 85 and dying of Alzheimer's, that will be one of the few things that I can repeat to my family.
Yeah.
And
we all got them.
Yeah, they'll not have any idea what it means, but, at least
the
that'll
other one
be there.
will be they're in the ventilation shaft.
Yeah. They've gone down the ventilation shaft. Yeah, that one. Yeah, just strange movie. I said it to Blake last week. It was one of the selling points was that they were still using the puppets. I didn't realize that they had coated over the puppet with a digital Yoda in this version. I'm sure you watched. So
that's a good point, because that's what I assumed was the case, because I was aware that they went back to the original Star Wars trilogy in the 70s and kind of did some upkeep. Right?
Yeah,
that's the right verbiage I can put on. And as I was watching this, I was like, there's no way they haven't applied that same concept.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Some of this shit actually looks bad, but I'm like, it actually looks decently good. But I'm like, this have to be like, it's got to be Disney pumping in the bucks.
Do me a favor and Google the like original Yoda puppet from the 1999 Phantom Menace release, because it looks fucked. Like it's so bad.
It's crazy though, because when you watch the OG trilogy, it looks so good. Like
that one's it is genuinely not bad.
Yeah,
I don't know what they thought.
Yeah, and then they pulled it out of a box and they were just like, I think it's still good, and it's not.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, which like tracks way more because some of the stuff, like I said, there's some wonky CGI, so you can tell there was some updating to it. But I'm like, this shit, like,
no, like again,
like, man,
as we've talked about,
budget did these motherfuckers in 1998.
As we talked about, there is genuinely bits where you can tell, like, oh, this was CGI in 1999, and they like did it. Like, a lot of the Jar Jar stuff, like that was groundbreaking at the time. And again, before, like I feel like Gollum definitely gets the thing that people talk about, but I think before that it was really the Jar Jar that was there for like the motion capture and stuff. And again, as a kid, he did not annoy me. As a kid, he was a hilarious character, but definitely as an adult watching it, you're just like, I would have wanted to blow my fucking brains out if I was watching this in 1999.
If I was Qui-Gon Jinn or Obi-Wan, I think I would have just lightsabered this dude by now on accident.
Speaking of characters, so there's another surprise here who I assume you guys know who I'm bringing up now because I didn't bring him up originally. Is didn't know Samuel Jackson was in these. But once I saw him, I was like, okay, I do remember him being a part of the 2000s Star Wars trilogy, right? Like I knew it wasn't the 70s, and I knew it wasn't the most recent one. So when he popped up, I was like, oh yeah, he is in these, and they give him the purple joint.
I was gonna ask if you knew, did you have a guess what his color, his lightsaber was, and if you knew what it was?
I knew it through cultural osmosis. Like once he popped up on the screen, all the cultural osmosis like went back in my brain.
Famously, you know what I mean? He just asked for that color, and they were like, sure. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, that's a Samuel L. Jackson.
And then it turned into a bunch of lore of like the Star Wars universe that Mace Windu, his character, was originally kind of categorized as the chosen one, and he's revered as one of the Jedis who actually kind of went to the dark side, but was able to pull himself out of that and come back to the light side, and that's why his lightsaber is purple, because red and blue make purple. So that's been kind of like the lore behind him.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
And Mace Windu is a beast.
Yeah, arguably his coolest stuff.
Is he in all three of these of the 2000s? What is it? 99 and 03, 05, whatever it is. He's in all three of them. Okay.
Also, Keira Knightley, which you may not have picked up, plays the fake Natalie Portman. Yeah.
No, I didn't.
She's like almost not out of makeup the whole time, but yeah, it is very much her. I think it's like her first role or something like that.
And she plays who?
The fake Natalie
Queen
Portman.
Amidala.
Yeah. So like, you know, like she basically the Queen Amidala, whenever she's in makeup, it may not be Natalie Portman. It could be her playing the decoy character.
Yeah.
So
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's whenever it's not her, it's Keira Knightley basically.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's funny. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm reading it here. Yeah.
Jake Lloyd, tough role for Anakin Skywalker, and that is definitely one thing. If you ever go and
that's the child,
right? If you watch, if you watch the second and third one, it's such a weird transition between him and the second one, where he's just suddenly a moody teenager. Like he's just the most goth, like emo teen in the second one. That you're just like, it's very rough that it's the same character, which is kind of what I think the Clone Wars series is there to do, is to kind of fill in some of that gap, basically between the two of them. Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong there, but it's one of those things where rewatching, I was like, you should have just made him 13 in this one. That way, it's not as creepy that like he's meeting Padme, who is his love interest. She's already like an 18-year-old, and like he's 11 in this or whatever. It's a strange choice just in general, the Anakin Skywalker character in this one.
Yeah, I think the choice had to have come from what they were trying to target, like their market for kids.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's
I mean, even like a lot of the language that other characters use is totally built for kids. Like when they get back to Gungan City, and the police officer, so to speak, is basically says, "You something big doo doo this time." I mean, like that's totally for a kid.
Yeah.
So, but
I'll try spinning. That's a cool trick.
Yeah. You're in a fucking dogfight in space right now, dude. Yeah, I obviously he's a kid, and so you got to kind of, he doesn't have a ton of quote unquote acting experience, so he's kind of just on screen and doing what other people are telling him to do. But yeah, it's he's always an interesting character to kind of watch progress just through that film in general. Hey, hit the nose.
Yeah, because to your guys' point, yeah, I mean, he is. I'm looking at it here. So he was born in '89, so he's 10 in this.
Yeah,
and Natalie Portman is 18 in this.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, like to your point, yeah, that's going to end up being his love interest in the next few films. Definitely a little strange.
And I mean, this is a movie that there is literal books written about and stuff. So like a lot of this stuff, if
prior to this movie,
or just since then that has come out and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So like and like kind of what went into it. So like there is answers for a lot of this stuff that is out there that like if you're a big Star Wars fan or like certainly the mega fans, they'll have known about this. Like they've talked, like George Lucas said that he went with a younger Anakin because it is like more tragic to separate that from a child like that from their mother than if it is like a teenager who's already kind of like naturally going to be rebelling at that stage and that kind of thing. And also like there's a documentary that talks about the making of this, and like they show the different casting videos, and there is actually a kid who has a more natural kind of repartee with Natalie Portman. That was one of the other kids that could have been Anakin, but they talk about they didn't go with him because Jake Lloyd already had acting experience on big productions because he'd been on the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, not Last Action Hero, the Christmas one.
Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way.
I just looked at that.
Yeah, so like that's why they went with him and that kind of thing. So there's, I think originally the Qui-Gon character wasn't there, so all of the interactions that Anakin has with Qui-Gon was actually originally Obi-Wan Kenobi as well too, which means that he's in much more of the movie as well too, which with how big of a character he becomes later on. There's just a lot of known and like talked about things about this movie now, which again I think contributes to kind of people's placing of it in history. Yeah. Where like they look back on it more as not like people don't look back on this the way they do a Captain America 2 or something like that, even if that's like the same amount of like movies it is into the series as this one is, they look back on it as this kind of, we're back in the Star Wars world and like this always needed to be a cut above everything else, and this one to like come back and kind of start on a dip, I think just, I don't know. It's definitely one person's vision, but it's maybe one person's vision who was allowed to go too far, that no one was like pushing back on him at any point, being like, this is a dumb choice.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The other thing too with Anakin is there's you age out of being a Padawan at some point.
Sure.
You can no longer be trained if you are past a certain point, because this is where, like, again, some of the lore of Star Wars, like, really gets kind of in deep, because they want kids so they can mold them the way that they think that they should be.
Right. Which is all,
molded, and so
which is all, again, part of why the Jedi are not necessarily good. Like in the greater Star Wars universe, like the Jedi, not necessarily the good guys,
maybe not.
The same way, cops can also not be your friend sometimes. Like,
and so yeah, that was one of the other reasons why I think obviously he had to be the certain age. But yeah, the whole age gap between him and Natalie Portman is just still one of those things that's like so weird. And then in the second one, you get to it and like it's like it's basically like another 10-year gap.
Yeah, they try to kind of like make it okay because he's now like 19 and she's ostensibly I guess 30 or something. But you're just kind of like, still weird, man. Still weird.
Yeah, but again, they don't really touch on her gap. They only touch on his gap.
Right. Like they kind
in
of
the second one. And so they only, it almost makes the viewer kind of feel like, oh, well, he grew up and she just stayed the same age. So we're good.
100%. Yeah. Because that is how they try and play it. And it is kind of like, they're almost like, why else would you like this person? Like he is just the worst in that second one.
Which is funny because now I'm so glad that Hayden Christensen is getting like his flowers for his
absolutely.
role in these. And he really got shit on back in the day for
and I
for
know
his role as Anakin.
And I know like Ahmad Best has like come back later on to play other characters in the universe. I think in like the Obi-Wan series and that kind of thing as well too. Because he also got for years was like no one would touch him because of the Jar Jar character as well too.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's definitely, and I'm sure he's got his own thoughts because I think he may be native to like the Caribbean and like some of the kind of like language and like speaking patterns there about the like Gungans was kind of a little bit, they're kind of like, hey, but maybe I'm making all of that up and I'm looking now and he's saying that he's just an African American actor and he's born in New York. So I'm definitely talking about stuff I don't know about. Sorry about that, Mr. Best. Never mind. But yeah, it's
no like
yeah. Some of that you're just like, okay. That is hitting an interesting note here in 2026.
There's some stuff where it's a product of its time. Absolutely. In terms of just overall Star Wars, right, kind of lore and how you guys rate the stuff. So it seems like you guys is the unanimous that this is the worst movie of the actual Star Wars joints?
No.
Not like the spin-off. So there's technically 9? Is there 9 Star Wars movies, quote unquote?
No, there's probably like 12 to 14 that are like.
Well, so there's 9 that specifically pertain to like these, but then you do have Solo, Rogue One, and kind of those spin-offs. But yeah, out of the main 9 of like the true Skywalker storyline, the sequel 3 are revered as far worse than pretty much anything that came before them.
And that's
sort of.
Which ones are the sequels? So
he's talking about The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's 2010s.
Correct.
Right. It's like that's how my brain works. There's 2010s, which is you said Rise, Force, and Rogue One,
Last Jedi.
Oh, Last Jedi, and then the 99, and then whatever it is, 05, 06, or whatever. That's one we just watched, Phantom Menace. Is it Clone Wars?
Yep.
Attack of the Clones, which I would say is the worst one. Attack of the Clones is my pick for the worst Star Wars movie.
Okay.
I think they're pretty close. The third one of these, The Revenge of the Sith, is it's pretty high tier for Star Wars. For a lot of people.
It's probably closest to the original trilogy out of the other ones that people will talk about, I would say, for the most part.
Yeah. But episode 2 and episode 1 are pretty close for some of the worst, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. I think I'm understanding that. And that's why they're prequels, because there's episode 1, 2, Revenge of the Sith is 3, because they're prequels to the
original trilogy.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I gotcha.
You are following along, friend. So yeah, in my mind, like this movie really breaks down to like, it's like assault on the Trade Federation ship, meet Jar Jar, pod race, battle at like dual lightsaber, which again we haven't talked about maybe yet, but that was breaking people's fucking brains in 1999 as well too.
Yeah, I could see that.
It was incredible.
When you light up the second side and you're just like, oh my god, this is happening.
Yeah.
That fucking door opens and then he's just standing there to begin with. I'm already like, dude, and then the music starts and I'm like, it's literally gonna go down right now. And I'm like on the edge of my seat as like a 9-year-old. And I'm like, dude, let's fucking go. And then you've already seen him wield his one side in the earlier kerfuffle that him and Qui-Gon had, so you know that's there. So you're like, okay, cool, it's red, like I know it's coming. And then he just hits that second button, takes a different stance, it comes out the other side. I'm like, holy shit, dude, we got bow staff lightsabers. Get the fuck out of here. And then he goes insane, and he's also revered as one of the best lightsaber wielders in the Star Wars galaxy. And he even beats a Jedi, Qui-Gon Jinn, who's also known to be a very high-level Jedi. And then obviously he gets beat out by Obi-Wan, but like that choreography for that fight in general is just it's insane. So just like my little, this is one of those little nerdy facts that you just pick up when you watch movies, and then you obviously, hear about it, and then you got to tell everybody.
Sure.
It's like that scene where Aragorn breaks his toe when he kicks the helmet. Everybody knows.
Yep.
They literally had to. So the choreography between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul after Qui-Gon has died was done so fast and so well that they had to slow it down for the final cut, because they literally thought, George Lucas was like, people are going to think that this is fake because it's going too fast.
Sure.
So we have to slow it down in post by a couple of seconds, milliseconds, whatever, per frame, to make this look more realistic on screen. And the amount of dedication that these guys put into this choreography for these fights is just insane level of stuff.
Yeah, man. It's good shit.
Lightsabers is peak Star Wars, dude. It's what everybody wants to see.
Yeah.
It's it's what we come here for, dude. Lightsaber battles are the shit.
Weirdly feeling like, it's got some 2026 vibes here with all the droids and the drones, where you're like, oh, yeah, maybe if we took out like the central command thing, all of this would stop and we wouldn't have to worry about that so much anymore. If only it was that easy.
Why don't we have EMP orbs that we just throw at robots?
Yeah, big goo balls. Come on. Well, at least that would be fun.
I mean, they make the sound.
Yeah. I remember as a kid loving the Qui-Gon Jinn character. Like, he was my favorite character, which, again, watching this movie as a 33-year-old, I'm like, he's the worst. He's kind of the one that sets all of this off. Like, it's his inability.
It's funny, right? Because when you're watching it as a kid, he really does add like this sense of like father figure to Anakin, because he obviously doesn't have one.
And like he's the Obi-Wan, like if you have seen the original series, he's the like Obi-Wan character that you're used to, who's like the wise thing, but he's also kind of the maverick wise one, right?
Yep.
Like he's the one that doesn't get along with the Jedi Council because he's too out there and wild,
constantly goes against it.
Yeah, but then like you watch it as an adult and you're like, yeah, man, you're the one with magic powers. You should have been able to free both the mom and the child, and like,
why aren't we just cutting Waddle in half?
Yeah, exactly,
and
man.
Just taking
like,
both of them.
Yeah,
like, what are we talking about?
100%. Yeah, there's just
what do you think you're a Jedi? Waving your hand around like that?
he'll happily try and trick that man, but then like has weird like hang-ups on like when he will and won't use his mind control powers as well too.
My tricks don't work on me, only money.
Which that in and of itself super racist as well. Like, you're just like, oh my god, how did we get away with this in '99?
There's some interesting shit in this movie for sure.
Dude, it's like you literally pick out every race.
So racist. I didn't even know it.
Lifestyle or culture is the word I'm trying to think that they were trying to depict on screen, even though that they all were dressed up as aliens.
Yeah. Right. Oh, that's funny.
Sebulba.
I was just gonna say Sebulba.
Yeah,
great character as well too. Like very, very fun.
Which one was that?
He's the other pod racer.
Pod racer.
Yeah,
the big orange one.
He like walks on his hands and has kind of like his front legs out, almost like you know when you're walking really shallow water and like your legs are floating and you got to walk on your hands, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
You picked a fight with a dog, an extremely dangerous dog named Sebulba. Yeah, and like again, like how old is Sebulba in this? Like you got to think he's like what in like human years, like mid 20s, early 30s,
yeah.
And he's bullying a fucking 10-year-old, and then he sabotages his ride. He's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you," and he's like, "Dude, this kid's 10. What are we doing?"
I also like that it runs on the weird like anime rules where they're like, "Yeah, I'm the only human that can do it." No one even questions it. They're like, this 10-year-old
like,
child can do this insane. It'd be if a 5-year-old showed up at a Formula One race and just started running laps around everyone. You're just like, okay.
Right.
I mean, Kimi Antonelli's kind of doing it.
Fair enough, but
it's fucking 16 years old. Yeah, man, it's too funny too. I mean, even when like Padme is like figuring stuff out and she's like, the queen would not.
Yeah, that is good
like
stuff.
This.
Yeah,
it's like you're putting way too many eggs in one basket, dude. And he's like, "Nah, it's okay. He's fine." And she's like, "What do you mean you've never?"
The queen trusts my judgment.
A race. He's like, "Oh no! Not only have I never won a race, I've never finished a race. But we'll be okay this time."
Which again doesn't seem uncommon, considering like half the field seemingly dies in this race well too. Like
they're alive. There's clearly some very
we don't see them explode, so they are okay. Otherwise, it's basically red line. Like there's some Tusken Raiders.
This is rated PG, isn't it?
Yes, this one is. I think
all Star Wars so, PG?
Yeah. I think in the later ones they definitely go PG-13.
I get for sure. Modern rating system.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely singular, definitely of its time, definitely I won't say weaker entry point in the series, but definitely a stranger entry point in the series. And one I am excited that Blake started off with, because I almost feel like if you start like at this point, if you're like, all right, we're gonna show you A New Hope, you're gonna be like, yeah, I enjoy it, I get it, like I understand why it is the way that it is, but I've seen 40 other examples of this plot. At least with this one, you're starting out and you're like, there's some fucking weirdness at the heart of this.
Yeah. 100%, dude.
Which will make it all the more interesting when we go see Mandalorian and Grogu next, which seems in some ways to be a throwback to a movie and a time period that none of us really care about.
Well, yeah, you said that's on path to be the fucking worst.
I think it's just a weird thing of
weekend.
I think it's a weird thing of like the people that liked the series, that the time to hit that was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And like now we're at this point where like there has been like cumulatively more filmed time on the Mandalorian and Grogu than the original like full 9 Star Wars movies, because we've got three series of that. And so like it's this really strange balance where like a lot of my fandom and like my thought and my lore of Star Wars is all in these 9 movies, but now I've like watched just as much as this other one. I just don't care as much though, like the stakes aren't as high, as well as like the like weirdly, even though I've seen more of it, I don't feel like I know that character as well as I do an Obi-Wan Kenobi or something like that, you know? So it's very strange. And then at the same time, they seem to be like trying to harken back to this kind of very Star Wars, because the first Star Wars, as in 1970s Star Wars, is very much like, hey, this is the movies that I saw as a kid growing up. That's George Lucas doing that, like with Flash Gordon and like the 1950s serials movies or serial shows that you would go and see like in a double feature. You would go and see 2 movies a day, and then there would be little bits in between. And like that's kind of what he was trying to emulate, was one of those just blown up to a movie size, you know? And now it's kind of like, well, that's become pop culture. That is the main dominant storyline that we've all had, this hero's journey, this big grand space opera story. And now you're trying to almost go back to that after building up through that and kind of modernizing film as well. It just means everything's very confused and muddled, and the message isn't quite right. And yeah, I don't know how to feel about all of it at this point. I'm not very interested. Like this Mandalorian and Grogu, even though it's designed to feel fresh, it feels like it's designed for me to be like, hey, this is what you like about Star Wars. The freshest thing, the most well-made, the most crafted, the most like applicable to me Star Wars content that has come out in the last 10 years is still Andor season 1 and season 2. And like that's the crazy thing about it to me.
For me, it's the animated stuff.
Sure. Like even those Star Wars like, Beyond,
Star Wars Rebels was really good.
Sure.
And then now you get the new Maul series that just recently came out. Which
I haven't
really
watched
good.
any of that because, like, again, in my mind, my mind's blown. This Darth Maul is not dead from this, which maybe we should talk about that with Blake too. Because
no, honestly, one of the most unkillable characters in the Star Wars universe, like, refuses to die. But yeah, actually, that's a funny question. We'll ask Blake when he gets back. We'll be like, "Do you think he's alive? What's your thoughts?"
Blake,
there?
what are your thoughts on Darth Maul and his end? All right, he's getting back now, folks. So we'll jump back here in just a second. Blake, before we move on here, Tyler has a question for you.
Okay, what we got?
As far as Darth Maul goes, do you think he's dead?
I mean, I'm just gonna go no
because you're just asking.
I'm asking the question to begin with.
Yeah.
I will tell you, he's dead in the movies. In some ways.
So there's a huge universe of animated stuff that is also regarded as some of the best Star Wars lore that you can get.
Okay.
And he's not dead.
Even though
at
he's
some point,
cut in half.
he comes back with like a giant spider body as his bottom half, like Scorpion King style.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then after that, he gets rid of his spider body and goes back to like 2 full-blown like mechanical legs. Bottom half of his body is just all mechanical, and then that just keeps evolving. And he's currently still alive, like today. Like there's a new series that just came out that is just about Maul, and he is still kicking it, dude.
I thought Clone Wars at one point did give his canonical end as well too, though. Maybe
they may have.
Spoilers.
I haven't looked as far as like where the Maul series falls into the timeline. But the fact that he's still getting content, I guess, is more or less what I was saying.
He from my understanding, he rematches Kenobi at one point, and it doesn't go great.
They both died. No, I'm kidding.
Both dual stab each other at the same time. Rocky 4 or whatever that is style.
Step Brother style, where they both hit each other in the head at the same time.
Simultaneous punch.
Maul is definitely one of my favorite Sith Lords, though.
is one of the best designed characters I think you come across.
The horns and shit on the head was pretty cool.
The face makeup, everything, to the point that like you like Insidious still like people are like the Darth Maul scene, and you're like, yeah, okay, I know what I'm talking about. You know,
yeah, everyone says that's his like stepbrother or something like that.
Yeah.
Which Maul does have a brother in the series. His name is Savage Opress. And he's a fucking monster. He's more of a green color than a red color, and he's got like 1.5 feet height and probably like 75 pounds versus what Maul looks like.
And he's cut into 3 pieces. One on either side. All right, but overall, you guys ready to get out of here and rank it? We've been chatting.
That little droid did it.
Yeah,
we'll share our ranking, and then of course, once Adam kind of has a stance, we'll actually put it somewhere. It's usually how it goes.
Rank we must.
Nice. Entropy list. So I know we got some Star Wars on here, don't we?
No.
I don't think we do, dude. No.
Jesus. Okay, never mind. Maybe I was thinking of...
Yeah, we don't have any Star Wars on here.
I must have been thinking Lord of the Rings.
And for context, if you guys are shooting, so B tier starts at Tron Legacy and ends at The Notebook. Hokum starts C tier at 168 and ends at Blind Spotting. Ferrari is D tier 212, and D tier ends Quantumania. I can go further. I just don't think anyone's going below that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this is gonna be a tough one.
This is a tough one because, like I was saying earlier, it carries high nostalgia weight.
Yep. That's gonna be a tough part of it. And again, like my mind also immediately goes to like, well, at some point we would probably rank the other ones on here too, and I know at least
I'd be interested if we did like original trilogy, if like that ends up going like towards like the top 20 of the list, you know what I mean?
Because this, I kind of have an idea. I'd say I'm firmly in the bottom of B tier to top of C tier for the most part, of things that like would occupy a similar space of like, I'm not going to set aside an evening for this movie, kind of like to Blake's point, but like I would throw it on at some point nowadays too, for like either having it on in the background or just like a nostalgia factor. Or like I could see like in Tyler's scenario, you know, my boys come over from back in the day and we're just kind of like, we'll
super easy movie to put on.
Exactly.
Also, like, I'm not like, again, when like those guys were here, like, yeah, the movie was on, but we're also like talking.
Yeah, you could all quote it
and like,
exactly,
and like sitting here remembering. Oh, you remember when like this first came out, and
So in that point, like that's kind of why I think I've got it kind of in that area.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to put this. I think I'm going to put it at 155. Below Moana, above Fall Guy.
Okay.
For context, that puts it above like things like The Monkey and Prey and X. But I'll also put it below things like Soul, American Gangster, Ready or Not, Mutant Mayhem, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Challengers is up above it, Malignant as well. Yeah, like other movies that I think are maybe more original, more like better examples of the genre or something like that. But nostalgia carries a large weight with this one.
For sure. Yeah, I'm going to be a little bit higher. Again, just for the nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
Pod racing got me hooked, dude. And Darth Maul. And if you want to argue with me, I'll pretend to argue with you, and you'll just keep arguing with me, and I'll just kind of sit there like it doesn't bother me, and you won't change my mind. So don't worry about it. I'm gonna go 128 below Reign of Fire. I feel like Reign of Fire is kind of in that same realm for me as far as like being able to throw on, not necessarily having to pay attention to it, but can still easily quote lines from it and still easily sit there and catch myself, watching a good like 30, 45 minutes of it and then, going off to do something and then coming back. And, but yeah, I've watched this movie so many times from a nostalgia factor. And, granted, I know there are plenty of movies below this that I would say are better movies on paper. But yeah, I see like Predator, Reign of Fire, Blade 2 up there and everything like that. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, just like this movie's been around for a long time for me. So yeah, 128.
Yeah. I mean, that's valid from both of you all. And like I said, you guys have the nostalgia tied to it. I'm a little lower than you all.
Granted.
Where I'm looking at, honestly, is comparing it to another 90s action joint, sci-fi joint. And I'm looking at Independence Day. Right.
Nice.
And I think I'm kind of in that ballpark. I have more of a nostalgic tie to Independence Day. Like that's something that I've seen like as a child and growing up. So then I see that, then I see like Napoleon below it at 92. Like that's a movie I'll like never watch ever again. Right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Couldn't even tell you to yeah. No one could convince me to even put that back on. So
no, all I know is that Joaquin Phoenix is in it. I'm never watching it again.
Exactly.
Not because of him, just because the movie's terrible.
For sure. No, I totally agree. It's like I see that. I see Independence Day at 191. I see Scream 6 at 190, which like I didn't really care for. There's The Rock at 189, Black Widow. So I think I'm kind of battling that, and I'll give Independence Day just because I don't care for Scream 6. And The Rock is one like another that's like 90s goes back to me. But honestly, I'll fight for it, and my cap for this one is going to be I'll go No Time to Die. So I'm going to put it above Black Widow just because I didn't care for it. I'll put it above Scream 6, didn't care for it. The Rock and Independence Day, I'll sacrifice those because I do understand now in hindsight where this continued to push like the genre and filmmaking boundaries ahead with just the mass amounts of CGI in this. And that was a spectacle at that time. So that's where I'll be. And actually, I'm going to take it back really quick because I didn't give a full number. I'm going to split the difference between Independence Day and The Rock. 2 90s movies, 2 monumental ones that I've seen growing up, and I don't give a fuck about Scream 6. So I'm putting it at 189. That's fair. Yeah.
Do you want Rock at 189 and then this at 190?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I'll split the difference. Yeah. Scream 6, whatever.
So currently our average would be 157.
Which puts us where? Okay, puts us B tier, right?
Puts us above Maxine, I think.
It does, yeah. Puts us B tier.
It would be tying
Maxine
with
and Prey.
Maxine, yeah.
Which is like that area of Maxine, Prey, The Menu, Last Night in Soho. Like surprisingly enough, Twisters is pretty high up there. Yeah. That's one thing I don't really know how the fuck that got that high up there. But yeah, this is solid.
If you don't see it, ride it or feel it or something.
Yeah, whatever he says, right?
Well, there we got it,
Say
folks.
close, ride a cowboy.
Ride a tornado. Fellas been watching anything?
I did watch Obsession.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I caught that, and I saw Adam caught it as well on Letterboxd. So I guess I'll just kind of wait to chat about it with Adam when he comes back.
I've been hearing a lot of positive things, or at least people have been talking about it. It's kind of reaching one of those points where I'm like, well, enough people are talking about it, and like I don't want to get spoiled for it that I might go and just see it for myself kind of thing.
It's one of those that it's running its rounds on like social media in different forms where it's because this was release weekend, I want to say. So yeah, it's like doing a hell of a release weekend, dude. And I caught it, as you guys know, I'm a big horror fan. That's one I was waiting on. And yeah, it's rightfully so. It's cool. But yeah, it is one of those where it's going to be hard to escape the interesting bits of it, right? You know what I mean? Because it's going to get spoiled because too many mass culture people like don't care about spoiling things. So, but yeah, I'll save my comments till Adam gets back. But yeah, man, that's really all I did. Watching some sports. I'll leave it to you guys.
Tyler, you been watching anything?
I've just been cruising along on Vox Machina, which has been great.
Yeah.
Finished second season, just started third season. So yeah, that's been really, really fun to watch. And then I got to Temple of Doom.
Do you have a favorite character in Vox Machina? I'm curious about.
I really do like Grok. Especially after seeing his kind of storyline with
in
his
season
uncle.
2, yeah, where he gets the gauntlets.
The gauntlets, yeah, super sick. Yeah, that episode, the Kill Box, it's really, really good. But honestly, Scanlan like cracks me the fuck up, dude. And yeah, and like he's one of those characters that just is very good with like his serious moments, but also like very good around the comic.
Very much the like
factor of it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna play a gnome that's a bard. So like tiny person with big charisma. Like we gotta like, have the like opposites and like equals kind of thing going. And you're just like, it just works, like he is a little chaos gremlin and it helps. You need those in any balanced party, right?
Facts. And then I love the character balance just with like the whole group in general. You start to just see like individual relationships start to develop.
Yep.
And then they each kind of have their own little story here and there, and yeah, it's really good.
It's funny when you start to pick their voices and then you realize how much stuff you've seen them in. And then like you're like starting to watch stuff again, you're like, oh, there's Matt. I can hear Travis in that one or something. Like, you're just it is crazy to realize voiceover actors and how prolific they are in a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, I think I started starting to give voice actors credit like once I really started to dig into anime.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And now I think it would be, I'm like, why didn't anybody ever tell me that like that was a profession?
Oh, for sure, right?
Dude, I have so many voices locked up in here since I was a kid. And
man, I could have just done funny voices as a job. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm like, what? I can just talk into a microphone and just read from a script. I'm like, dude, that'd be fucking sick.
Yeah.
So, but apparently it's like an even bigger thing now. Like you can still like get into it. So I'm like, if I ever need like if I ever have some extra time and I need a second stream of revenue, then I'm definitely gonna see if I can pick up voice acting because that'd be sick.
I just want to do ad libs for rappers or like the intro to mixtapes, like Wavy Davy B. This is
listen to this track, bitch.
KYOT, the coyote. We're talking about how voice acting and like how that is a crazy job and like how you get started into it. I said I'm gonna get started as the guy that does the ad libs for rappers at the end of something like Wavy Davy B.
Yeah, you have the mixtape ad libs.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. Yeah, that was funny to walk back into.
Things I've been watching. I am caught up, or I'm on to the new reboot season of Scrubs now, which has been a real crazy watch to go from, because that show started in 2001, which I don't feel like I necessarily like comprehended at the time, because I think the only Bill Lawrence show I'd really watched was Ted Lasso at that point. So like it's crazy to go back and watch that show and see not only like what the jokes were at the time and kind of like what the just attitude of sitcoms was, but then kind of like see him, I don't want to say mature, but like kind of change, and like, but you also still see the DNA in there in like Ted Lasso and that kind of thing as well. So I'm interested to go back and watch more Bill Lawrence stuff at this point. But that was definitely fun. And I have enjoyed that rewatch in a lot of ways that I didn't expect. So I've been enjoying that quite a bit. Guys, I watched a movie today that I think is going to be instantly up onto like my upper tier lists, which is a movie called Perfect Blue, which if anyone has seen or heard of it, I feel like they're not going to be surprised as to like me enjoying it a lot, but they may be surprised that I haven't seen it already. It's a pretty famous anime movie. It's by a director called Satoshi Kon, who seems like he made a few movies and then died in like 2010 or so. This movie came out in 1996 or 97, and the crazy thing about it is it really kind of perfectly predicts in some ways like social media and the rise of having a social media avatar or a social media self versus who our own interior people are, and then like how someone could get in there and kind of create like take away that avatar from you by telling you what they think you're supposed to be. And maybe that's a little bit confusing for anyone who doesn't know, but in essence, it's about a woman who is a singer, a pop idol, who is wanting to transition to acting, but she has fans who don't like that, who want to keep her as a pop idol and change. And it's all her perspective as she slowly starts to kind of not know who she is, have a tough time figuring out, where her personality ends and begins, and also like is losing herself a little bit into the new acting role that she's been giving. But I mean, just like from the jump, the first like 4 or 5 minutes on a directing standpoint, as a viewer, I was just watching it. I was just like, oh shit, this dude knows what he's doing. And he is like, I feel completely in like, this dude's in control. Like the way you would like a Christopher Nolan movie or like a, like a Steven Soderbergh or my God, who's my guy that did Mad Max? George Miller movie where it's just
I almost said George Lucas.
Yeah. His name would work too. Again, just like someone who just 100% knows what they're making, what they're crafting, and like how each shot and each visual is going to tie into one another and what that is saying and what that is communicating to the viewer. Just really, really good stuff. Again, I cannot believe it came out borderline 30 years ago at this point, because it really does feel like it perfectly anticipates social media, but just using like 90s technology, like the computer is like a big part of it, and like people going to a chat room or something like that, or people being able to like make a blog, and like I could, if I'm out there saying I'm BlakeHolder and I'm blogging as Blake, there's no one really to tell them that I'm not Blake, in this time period and that kind of thing too. So yeah, just an incredible movie. It's listed as a drama on HBO Max. I would say it's much more like a psychological thriller in a lot of ways. Okay. But at multiple times in the movie, like I was watching it, I was fully locked in, and like my heart was beating. Yeah, really incredible. Like sat back afterwards, like that was a fucking movie, like,
yeah, I'm gonna have to check this out.
It's good stuff. Big recommend. Definitely affected me. Good stuff.
We love good.
We do.
Yeah, I'm reading it. I was reading a little bit about it right now. Did you watch it in dubbed or subbed?
Subbed for sure. Okay, which, like, again, HBO Max, they just did a 4K re-release. The sub, I would say, like, I am happy I watched this as like, where I kind of understand reference and have watched a lot of anime and read a lot of manga at this point. So I kind of like feel like I understand the transition of like a pop idol
Japanese.
to like actress, and like not actually understand Japanese, but maybe more of that culture than I would typically, or something like that.
Yeah, right, for sure.
But I still think you could watch it and get all of that without necessarily that context, but it does add to it, no doubt. I felt like I watched it, and where it's a movie that goes in a lot of different ways where you don't necessarily know what's real and what's not. I feel like now I'm watching it and like I'm receiving all of the messages trying to tell me, rather than like maybe chasing what I think actually happened or something like that. So yeah, those were the things that I'd been watching. I also watched the Gina Carano Ronda Rousey fight, if anyone else like cared or heard about that.
I saw a little bit of that.
You probably saw the whole thing.
See the actual fight. I saw a discourse.
It was 17 seconds, so it did not last long. But yeah, that went exactly the way that I thought it would as well too. But at the same time, I am happy that there is someone out there challenging the UFC for people's combat sports attention. So good with that as well too.
Cool.
Yeah, let it rip. The only other thing I've been doing is Forza Horizon 6 came out, so I've been cruising around Japan.
How do you like the game so far?
I like it, dude. It's obviously a Forza game, so there's really not like a ton of differences between like how the actual game works from like Forza 5. Not that I was expecting like any of like the user interface or anything like that to change, but cars look good, customization is fun. You can now like customize like the properties that you buy, so like the houses, and your like garages and stuff like that. And they even put it in there that like, oh, you know, like if you do take care of like your home, like the community like really cares about that stuff, which is true. You can literally go buy a home in Japan right now for like I don't know, like under 20 grand. And you don't have to be a citizen or anything like that, but there are expectations of you having to put like money into it to make sure that it looks good and everything like that. So it's pretty cool though. Overall, it's been good. And then I don't know if you guys remember Mark from the computer department.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, him and I were always, one of the things that we always really liked was Forza, and so him and I have been able to link up in the game and on like Discord, so we're able to like talk and like drive together and do like the events and stuff together. So it's been pretty cool.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
Shout out Mark.
Marky Mark.
Yeah. Cool.
That's all I got.
I think that's what we got here for you folks. So that'll wrap up our episode on Star Wars. How we say this? Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Nailed it.
You got it.
Yeah. Tune in next week. What do we got? The Mandalorian and Grogu? I'm not
Grogu.
Grogu. Okay. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Maybe a bad Star Wars film, but we'll see. But yeah, that's where we're at. Tune in next week, and we should have the full squad next week. We hope. Fingers crossed. And yeah, outside of that, thanks for the support. Thanks for the listenership. And we will BRB.
America. Ready for another lesson.